we've got today Rodger Blaker, and he's going to be talking to us about what do you do when you're 50 and you can't, and career change, maybe your industry's totally wiped out, and maybe it'll come back. Real estate, we seem to be very cyclical, but do you have 10 years to wait? So, looking at those options, career change, and also talking about, maybe you're an entrepreneur and this is the time to pursue your passion. With all those years of experience, you do have a pretty good knowledge of yourself. But if you work for a long time in corporate, it's just been covered up. So I want to welcome back to the show Rodger Blaker of Rodger Blaker Coaching.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Happy birthday, Rodger.
Thank you.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Happy birthday to me. It's all about me.
When I found out it was your birthday, and I learned that on Facebook. Because it says,
I got your note, by the way, so thank you very much.
Yeah, what was it, 3 in the morning when I wrote it?
It may have been.
Yeah.
Your usual time, right?
My usual time, because
Yeah.
I'm always up doing stuff like that. And already had a bunch coming in, but I felt so privileged to, gosh, you'd want to spend the day on the radio.
Oh, with you, anything like that. Be a blast.
Golly. Okay, well, we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be helping the people out there that are looking for a job. And I want you to start off with what, we've talked quite a bit. I'm just going to let you start off with this.
Okay.
And what you'd like the people to know and consider if you are in this position, especially if you've been long-term employed. Because I don't know, how long does unemployment, I've never gotten unemployment. It's always been self-employed. So I don't know how long it lasts, but I know a lot of people are now reaching the end of it. It's not been extended, or, there's only a certain window that you have. So.
Well, I mean, that's a reality, but let's go ahead and just talk about the situation where people, and we know there are a lot of people in the 50s areas where it's really becoming more visible as far as a challenge. I think I shared with you earlier or yesterday that the percentage of the 50-somethings that are just not finding work is dramatically increasing all the time. Now that's bad news maybe, and that could be depressing, but what I want to talk about, things that you can control, because you can't control that. So some of the things, and Julie in her previous program, there's some things she said that I picked up on. It's not just the dress, but one of the things is attitude. It's very difficult to maintain a positive attitude when you're struggling and you're looking for a job. But what actions can you take even if you're dealing with that? Because let's face it, that's a reality that we all have, is like I feel down. Some of the things, and the head chatter can be, well, I'm worthless, I'm not useful to anybody anymore, and all those kinds of things. And that's a hard one to overcome. Some of the things to start doing is taking actions. And one of the things that I really talk to people about, if you're not even quite sure what you're going to do next, because maybe your career has to change, maybe you're going to try to find a job in corporate America again, maybe you're going to look at being an entrepreneur, go on your own. But one thing for sure is to get up and take action. And people say, well, what do I do? First off, get out of your chair and get out the door. Start networking. And Julie talked about something a while ago, the way people look and dress. One thing that I've noticed, and I want to bring this up, it's a sensitive subject maybe to a lot of people, but how we look matters, and also it helps our attitude. And one of the things I tell people is if you're not physically active, exercising, watching your diet, getting rest, those things are going to affect you mostly. There's things that you can control, you can do something about. So get out and start doing those things. Because I think we live in a society in this country, if you look around visually, you see a lot of people that very clearly don't look like they do a lot of exercising and taking care of themselves. And that's a key piece in many levels. You look better, people are more attracted to you. Whether we like to admit that or not, it's true. But the attitude, the endorphins that we hear about, all those kinds of things, it's very important to try to keep those up. And if we're having emotional difficulties because we're looking for work and all those downers, getting out, being physically active as much as possible helps shift that attitude. So
it helps you sleep.
It's all those things.
And it feels like you're doing something.
It is. It's motion. It's getting in motion.
Because life can start taking you by.
It'll take you down.
You start getting full of things of daily stuff, and the next thing you know, you don't have time to look for a job or to work. So anyway.
You just wear yourself out by letting your head chatter all the time.
Yeah. Right.
So physical activity, watching what you eat, trying to get sleep, because let's face it, when we're worried, a lot of times people either sleep all the time or they don't sleep much when they're under stress. The exercise and those things help. Another piece is who are we networking with? What's our contacts? You can develop that more than you have. One of the things that I realize, this is my personal confession out of the corporate world, I did not spend a lot of time networking, building a lot of relationships, and I'd heard about that in the corporate world, do that, and it really is important. The more you can do those kinds of things, again, when you're out talking to people, meeting with people, interacting with them, that helps you as far as being up and active. It obviously helps you connect to people. Obviously, too, if you can help people some way with them by just being positive and meeting people, letting them know what you do, what you're looking for, just those kinds of things can help too. The more people you know, the more people you connect with, the more people you build a relationship with, the better chance you have of getting a job. Fundamental things, for example, LinkedIn. I heard that was mentioned a minute ago, and I guess the guy, I don't know what all he talked about last week because I didn't hear the program. But if it's something about keeping it update, make sure you've got everything current in there, that you've got all your information filled out.
Yeah, making sure that you're pretty thorough, and
right.
You have the career things, and that you work it. And
you definitely work it, and you create contacts there. Because what's happening in corporate America today, too, is that interviewers, people in the HR areas, if somebody is being considered, they go out now and research LinkedIn, Facebook. They want to see who you're connected with because they find out a lot about you. If you've got things connected to you that are really not appropriate, they're going to find that because that's what corporate world's doing now. They're going out and finding out about you and your background by looking at your network in Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You want to keep those things clean. In other words, who do you connect with that could be a positive or negative influence or a display of who you are? You don't want to miss that. LinkedIn, especially because it's a professional site, is having it thoroughly updated, have information out there that's thorough about you and professionally done.
And joining the groups, being a contributor.
Yes.
And getting out there because you may be, whether you're looking for a job or not, but if you're not looking for a job, you still need to do it for what we talked about. But if you're looking for a position, he was very good about talking about get involved with groups that you give your knowledge so that they say, wow, this guy is giving some good feedback and tout that knowledge, use it.
Well, they rank you.
Yeah.
If people are interested in what you're saying, especially on LinkedIn, they rank you, and all of a sudden you start showing up the top of things in the list. That's obviously, again, information, people's knowledge. Companies are looking for those kinds of things.
And
with
if
people.
You've got enough for a blog, start kind of a blog thing and start gathering what your expertise was, and then it's out there.
Yeah. So there's some things about things you can control. Worrying about what the economy's doing, whether your industry is dying or whatever, you can't control those things. It is trying to find things you can. You mentioned something about career and what a person would do next, and you and I talked about some of those things about how to identify what my passion is. I heard this recently, and I want to say this and do a caveat with it. If you're really not sure about what matters to you, what you're passionate about, one of the things I'd ask you to think about, what makes you cry? What touches your emotions? Now, if you're a very emotional person like me, a lot of things make me cry that maybe I'm not a passionate about. But there are ways to find out what matters to yourself without having to make it overcomplicated. You got to go and do all this research. You got to go take all these assessments. Those don't hurt necessarily. But if you don't have access to those things, then I've talked to you about the book, Strengths Finder. Go out and pay $15 for a book, and it has 34 talents in it. You buy the book, you can take the assessment online after buying the book, you can find out what your top talents are. That will tell you something about yourself and maybe where your giftedness is if you're not really sure. So there's things you can do.
I often cry on the radio. I think you're right. No.
Yeah, I haven't yet. Just ask me something, it touches me some way, and watch me just grab the hankies or whatever.
I think
yeah.
I think I held in on this being older than me in my 50s and realizing, you know what, is that people not finding a job and having been out there myself, that didn't make me cry, but it made me want to, hey, let's wake up and give people some hints. So anyway, I feel like when you've got a real opportunity here, especially if you've left someplace with significant got some cash up front, and you were maybe given, a lot of times they give severance. And what I hate to see sometimes is, and I'm seeing this, is people use that time to, and maybe they need to decompress, but the way it is now,
Right.
you kind of, if that job ends, you need to be hitting the next trail. Don't be waiting
Yeah.
till you're having
Right.
to,
Well,
whatever.
there's a trap there because people have maybe financial means because of that, and they stick their head in the sand. So I would say another thing about the relationships is find some accountability partners that you can share what you want or what you're doing, and invite them in to keep you on track and do the same thing for them.